All right, so we're going to take a quick look at this homework that I gave you to get ready for the test. This is a preview of surface area, concept 22.1. You're going to see this on Tuesday's test. So there were some warm-up problems. Here's the first area of this simple rectangle. You know the formula. You can see it right here if you don't remember it. And anytime the formula is not written down, be sure you write it down. So length times width. So 10 times 3, 30 square units. 5 and 13, so 13 times 5, 65 square units, and 22 times 18, 396 square units. Now a few brain warm-ups for triangles. And remember the formula for triangles, base times height divided by 2. And the reason is that a triangle is basically half a rectangle, so it's the rectangle formula, base times height or length times width, and then divided by 2. So for 2a, we have a base of 10, a height of 8. 10 times 8 is 80. And you divide that by 2 and you get 40 units. For 2b, we have a base of 25 and a height of 12. 25 times 12 divided by 2, which is 300 divided by 2, or 150. And remember, if I talk too fast, just pause it, write some notes, go back if you need to. That's the great thing about having me on video. And finally, 2c, a base of 13, a height of 16, so 13 times 16 divided by 2, 208 divided by 2, 104 square units. Now we come down to problem number 3, and this is where we put it all together. And when we look at this house, we can see that this house has 3 sides that we see, if you want to call it that way. It has this one end of the house. It has this one side of the house, and it has this one roof of the house. And the thing is, for each of those parts, there's an identical part just like it that you can't see. So we're going to solve the 3 that we can see. And then we're going to multiply the roof by 2 to get the missing roof, and the walls by 2 to get the missing walls. So let's get those highlights off of there, and let's break it down. Let's start with this end of the house. It's made up of 2 shapes. It's made up of a triangle right there. And that triangle has a base of 8. This 8 down below, bring it up top. So it has a base of 8 times a height of 4, and we divide that by 2. Area of a triangle, base times height divided by 2, which is 32 divided by 2, which is 16. So this is 16 square units. We also have a rectangle as part of that wall. And this rectangle has a length of 7 and a width of 8, or a length of 8 and a width of 7. Doesn't matter how you say it. 8 times 7 is 56. To get the full area of this wall, we need to take the 56 from the rectangle, add the 16 from the triangle, and we get 72. I'm going to bring that 72 down here. This is walls we can see. And so far, for the walls we can see, we have 72. Now, we also have a piece of wall right here. And that piece of wall has a base of 14, so 14 times, and it has a height of 7. Let's bring that 7 all the way over here. So 7 times 14. So 14 times 7. Now, when you do this on the test, you're going to get to use calculators. So let's break ours out now. 14 times 7, 98. So that's some more wall we can see, 98. And if we add those together, 98 plus the 72, that gives us 170. So let's bring that 170 up to the top. up to our walls line. And remember, that's the walls we can see. There's another section of walls just like it. So we're going to multiply by 2. And all together, we get 340 square feet. Now, why square feet? It doesn't say feet anywhere. It says the paint's in feet. Feet would be the logical way to measure a house. So we're going to go with square feet. If you didn't have that label, you don't need to worry about that. But add it in now. Now we're ready to do the roof. So the roof that we can see is right here. And so we are going to be multiplying. We have 6. So 6 times. And then this 14, because 14 would also be the length of that. So 6 times 14. 6 times 14 gives us 84. That 84 is the roof we can see. So we bring that 84 over there, right like so. Multiply it by 2 to get the roof we can't see. 84 times 2 gives us 168 square feet of roof. All right, now, the second part of our problem. So the first part, find the surface area of the roof and the wall. Second part, coverage with paint. How many cans of paint are needed for the walls? Well, I know that the walls are 340 square feet. So 340. Each can covers 150. So 340 divided by 150 is 2.27, because that 2/6 repeats, so that would make it a 7. I know I can't buy a partial can of paint, so since it's more than 2, the answer here is I have to go in and buy 3 cans of paint. I can't walk up to the counter and say, I want to buy 2.27 cans of paint. Doesn't work that way, so I have to buy 3 cans. Let's figure out for the roof now. So for the roof, we know that it covers 168 square feet. Each can, or there are 168 square feet of roof. Each can covers 150. So 168 divided by 150, 1.12. We have the same situation. Since it's more than 1, we have to buy 2 cans of paint. So 2 cans for the roof and 3 cans for the walls. So what I'd like you to do now, so I'd like you to pause, and I'd like you to flip your paper over, rework problems 4 and 5. You haven't had a chance to do 4 and 5 having seen an explanation. And I'm going to bet a lot of you, once you saw this explanation, you said, oh, yeah, now I see what I should do. Now it's not nearly so hard. I thought it was really tough, but it's not. So flip the paper over. I'm going to give you a minute. So pause the video. I'm going to do 4. And then if you get 4 right, just check your answers on 5. If you get 4 wrong, think about 3 and 4, and then rework 5 as you need to. All right, now you had a chance to do 4 and 5. Let's go through and do 4 together, and then if you need to, pause the video and look at your work on 3 and 4 before you do 5. One of the things I'm going to do, because I know I need to measure 3 different rectangles here plus a triangle, is I'm going to bring these measurements up right now. Because when I do that triangle, I need a base and a height. So now my base is 10, my height is 5. When I do this rectangle, I need a length and a width. My length is 12, my width is 9. This 9 is the upright. It doesn't matter. Stick another one out there. Those are all 9s. And when I do the roof, I know that my base is 12 here, so this piece of roof is also 12. So I'm going to have 12 by 7. So now I can go through and I can break down this end of the house. And this end of the house has both a triangle and a rectangle. So I'm going to do the triangle first. 10 times 5 divided by 2. Triangle is always base times height divided by 2. So 50 divided by 2 is 25. This is 25. Let me get my calculator out of the way for a minute. And I'm going to start right down here. Walls I can see. And I know that there's the first part of that is a 25. Now you'll notice I'm doing it a little bit differently than I did last time, because I'm going to break this into 3 parts for the walls, because you saw it one way already, so I'm going to show you just a little different way. Then we've got a rectangle that is 9 by 10. So length times width, there's a 90. And then I have one more over here. Let me change up the colors. I have one more over here that's 12 times 9. And I'm going to bust out my calculator. I think it's 108. Let's find out. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. All right, so 108. So I'm going to bring that down. And I'm going to add that to 90 and 25. And the walls I can see total 223 square feet. So I'm going to bring up that 223 square feet. I'm going to multiply by 2 because there are the same amount of walls on the other side that I can't see. So 223 times 2 is 446 square feet of walls. Now I'm ready to do the roof. So the roof is 12 times 7, and 12 times 7 is 84. Let's just double check though. I would hate to do all of this work and make some careless mistake. So 12 times 7 is 84. That's the roof I can see. So the roof I can see is 84. I'm going to multiply that by 2. 80 times 2 is 60, and 4 times 2 is 8. So I get 168 square feet. All right, let's move our calculator out of the way a little bit further. So now, how many cans of paint? I'm going to spread my work out a little bit this time. So for part C, I have to take cans for the walls. So here are the walls. So 446 divided by 225. So 446 divided by 225 is 1.98. All right. Well, even if I was just rounding, that would be 2. But since it always has to round up, no matter where it is, if it's past 1, it has to go to the next one. I need 2 cans of paint for the walls. So that's going to be 2 cans for the walls. And then doing part D, paint for the roof. Well, the roof had 168 square feet. Each can covers 225 square feet. And so I know that altogether for the walls, 168 divided by 225, you know that's less than 1 whole. That works out to be 0.75, which tells me that I need 1 can. So I need 1 can of paint to cover the roof. Okay, once again, if you got those all right, if you had A, B, C, and D all correct, then just forward the video to the end of part 5 and check your work. If you didn't, go back and look at 3 and 4, see what you need to do differently, and then rework 5 if you need to. All right, let's go ahead and finish up with number 5 here. So step 1, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take this 8, move it over, even move it over there, bring this 15 up, Bring this 12 up. Now I have all the parts set, and I can start going ahead. I'm going to do this by itself, this triangle. So I've got 12 times 7 divided by 2. Remember, that's base times height divided by 2. 12 times 7 is 84, divided by 2 is 42. So I've got 42 down here in the category walls I can see. Now I'm going to go ahead and do the rectangle part. So I've got 12 times 8, and 12 times 8 is 96. Let me just double check that. 12 times 8 equals 96. So I'm going to be adding 96. And then finally, I've got this big wall, which is 15 times 8. So 15 times 8, 120 plus 120. And all of that equals 120 plus 96 plus 42 is equal to 258. So that's the walls. So 258 times 2 for the part that I can't see gives me a total of 516 square feet of walls in this house. Now for the roof. Well, on the roof we have 15 times 6, and 6 15 times or 15 6 times, doesn't matter, it's commutative. 15 times 6 is 90, so 90 is roof I can see. So we're going to take roof I can see, which is 90. We're going to multiply that by 2 for the roof I can't see, and that gives us 180 square feet. So now let's bring down our work. I'm just going to move, whoops-a-daisy. Let's try that again. Little technical issue there. All right, I think we got the technical issue cleared up. I'm just going to move that out of the way. And we're ready to do Part C. Cans of paint needed for the walls. Well, the walls have 516 square feet. Each can covers 100. Dividing by 100 is 5.16. And since I can't buy partials, I need 6 cans for the walls. For the roof, Part D, we have 180 divided by 100 equals 1.8. Anytime you're dividing by a decimal, by 100, excuse me, you just move the decimal 2 places over. And that tells us that we need 2 cans of paint to do that. All right, so there is all your work on that. Be sure that if you have questions, you ask. Remember, you are going to see this type of problem on the test. I'll give you the quick answer on the bonus here. We'll quickly go through the bonus. Since this is 20 on the bottom, then this is 20 on the side, and 20 times 20, or 20 squared, is 400. So we've got 400 plus. We know that if this side is 20, then this diameter is 20, which means the radius is 10. And so we have 3.14 times 10 squared, which is 3.14 times 100, which is move the decimal twice. So that circle has an area of 314. The other circle also has an area of 314. 300 and 300 is 600, plus 400 is 1,000, and the two 14s give us a total of 1,028 square units of area. As far as perimeter goes, this was 20 and 20, so we're going to have 4 times 20, or 80 for the square. And for the circles, since this diameter was 20, we're going to have 3.14 times 20, pi times the radius, so 3.14 times, whoa, we didn't see, you always got to be careful that you punch everything, 3.14, there we go, times 20 is 62.8. So we had the 80 from the square plus 62.8 plus another 62.8. 62.8 times 2 is 125.6 plus the 80 gives us 205.6. 205.6. Oops, not square units, excuse me there. Not square units, but just units of measure for the perimeter. And finally, the question, can you trace all the way around without raising your pencil? The answer is yes. Let's just start at a spot. Let's start right there. We go all the way around. Gets us to there. We go down below. Gets us to there. We go all the way around. This is kind of like a weird Mickey Mouse thing. And across and back up again. And this, of course, would have connected. So now you have everything from this. Questions that you've got, please be sure you bring them to